We turn now to a disturbing story out of Louisiana.
Now, another very controversial death of an African-American man in police custody.
He was a young man, and he was stopped by the police. He ends up dead.
How does that happen?
Apparently he had a gun on him, and then he shot himself in the back.
I said, that's a lie. I know better than that.
And what happened next is very unclear. Much of this story is unclear.
I remember him saying, I can't go to jail, and then he said, I'm going.
That don't even sound like nothing that he would even say.
When they said my son had committed suicide, I was livid.
Something is wrong with this picture. We need help.
The family definitely do not accept the coroner's report.
I could see Lil Dick's left eye was turned inward. He had to be hit so hard that it knocked his eye inward.
Looked like he had been hit with the butt of a rifle.
You would have to ask yourself, how is that humanly possible?
Victor White's unbelievable Houdini handcuff suicide.
We are committed that we get to the truth. What happened to Victor White III?
I didn't kill Victor White, nor did my deputy.
This whole case is not making sense.
There's too many unanswered questions here.
Your parameters for what is normal start to change.
Who's in charge? Who's gonna help these people?
They wouldn't let me see my son. And I asked him again, I said, man, what happened to my son? What happened to my son? He told me I can't tell.
He didn't kill himself. He was killed.
You guys would be amazed at what's going on here in Louisiana.
Whoa, welcome to the Best Friend Weekend Podcast. It's your man Aldo Nice.
It's your boy Rod Smooth.
It's your boy Los, aka CAP.
Yeah, we told y'all we was gonna do something, and I think Raj mentioned this last week. He said, this is a podcast. What'd you say, Raj? I don't remember exactly what you said. Something like, we have a genre, we have guests, we have host.
We talk about whatever we want.
Exactly. We talk about whatever we want on the podcast, and so this one we're gonna do a little different. Obviously, we're coming at you on a different day. It's just a random midweek drop, but what we just watched was powerful enough for us to say, hey, you know what? Let's set aside some time in our schedule right quick to give our immediate rapid reactions to the documentary that just took place on A&E. I'm sorry, I'm throwing the wrong channel. Investigation Discovery, called SugarTown. So if y'all didn't watch that, SugarTown was about the caption for SugarTown when you look at it online, when they say what the show is going to be about, it says when a 22-year-old black man dies while handcuffed in the backseat of a police car in New Iberia, the town's already painful history of racial division intensifies. But while the sheriff seems untouchable, the parish residents demand justice. Some people probably looked at that and like, what's a parish? I mean, there's a lot of questions there. It's a lot of things to unpack. But we're just talking about it. Obviously we talked about it. If you follow the podcast, you know, Rod Smooth, Aldo Nice from New Iberia, Louisiana. CAP, a.k.a. Los from Shreveport, which does come up in the documentary as well.
Relax.
So we just talk a little bit. I mean, what's your general, and I just want to go here. I mean, what's your general feeling? How do you feel when you turn off the TV after watching it? Anybody?
I feel like it really sums up Louisiana in a nutshell. Actually, I feel like in Louisiana we're known for being a very, very racist state, and I just feel like in this documentary it was very well documented how white people get down. I mean, the white people who are heads of things, like, you know, who are over the sheriffs and lawyers and judges and people who are pillars in our community, in the parishes. They just basically do what they want to do, how they want to do it. And they just getting away with stuff and just telling black people anything, like, you just gonna believe this, or, fuck off. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, those people still don't know anything about how how he really died, how the brother, son, uncle, daddy passed, and it's sad how that goes. And I think it's something that happens quite often. It just doesn't get the national news that this one did.
How about you, Raj? What you thinking?
So, actually being from New Iberia, like I feel like New Iberia is a special place, not necessarily in a positive regard, but just a special place nonetheless. It feels like when you're there and when you're part of a certain society. Not saying that I am, but it feels like a really, really, really big place in a small town. Like it just feels and you got characters like Lo said, and most of them are white. Most of the leaders of the parish that we are from are white, and they're very powerful. Like and you know, if you watch the whole documentary, because you asked me how I felt about the whole documentary, it said something like in the synopsis, the sheriff seemed untouchable. It shouldn't have said seemed untouchable. The sheriff is untouchable.
Yeah.
Like
they mentioned his family too. You know, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I mean, I'm pretty much done. Like that's how I feel. Like I feel like those people. It could have been anybody in Iberia Parish, or let's just say New Iberia. It could have been the mayor. It could have been anybody that got in that type of trouble. And if they're white, then they straight. Like they know people in high places.
Yeah, I think in Louisiana, and our parishes in relatively small towns, I think it's basically like if your family started off a long time ago just running shit, it kind of passed down. It kind of goes down. Like your parents' power transitions to the kids, and then the grandkids and the great grandkids. So it was obvious, and they kind of stated at the beginning of the documentary that his family was very powerful and popular.
I get you with that, and you're saying that, but I'm not sure about the history of it. I think if you break down the history of it, I think I've heard before that maybe Akko isn't necessarily an indigenous New Iberia person. Maybe his people moved there at some point, but that point notwithstanding, I think you're making a valid point just about being entrenched in a social position. That if you're in a position that's high up, that you could do a lot of that you could be with it. I mean, the governor of Louisiana when I graduated college was Kathleen Babineau Blanco, and I don't remember who I know she's from New Iberia, but I don't remember who. Somebody was like her brother-in-law or her brother was somebody, and it all be like, oh, you know what? Not even that. You know who her brother was, Raj?
Who's that?
Barron's Health Club.
You're right, sure was.
Babineau's, like. And where we from, that was the only what you call that? Like a what do you call those things, Roger?
It's a workout facility. I don't know.
But yeah, don't they
like
use
a mass workout facility? I don't know, a gym, but like
country
just
club or something?
like a
country club.
Country club.
Yeah, I was going for country club.
There was other country clubs, but I feel where you're going. It was one of the only ones.
Like a little social spot for white people that got money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Outrageous amount of money a year. You get a nice little wooden locker.
Exactly. So that was one of them that I knew about at a young age, and was like, okay, them people got money, and then she ends up being a governor. These things all kind of go together. I thought it was an interesting juxtaposition, not even juxtaposition, just an interesting thought exercise when they start talking about the sugarcane festival, and like they juxtapose the black experience versus the white experience.
I was going to ask you, did you have a story about that?
So yeah, I'm gonna go there. I don't think I ever really, as a youth, saw the segregation as pointed as they did. Mm-hmm. They made it look like they got a parade and the white folks in it, and then they got a black thing going on somewhere else. It's not really that. It's not really like that. It's not really like that. Stop. It's more like there's a parade and black people be walking up and down the street and white people be out there too. Like people be at the parade. It's just that when it's time after the parade, them white folks is all like downtown New Iberia having fado-dos and drinking and carrying on in that section of New Iberia. And like they just mentioned, on the other side of the tracks, the black folks is carrying on Persian Street or somewhere uptown, somewhere we out there doing some different things. Even when they used to have the Sugarcane Festival Fair, it was like, at a certain time, the white folks would start leaving the fair, and it'd be all black people out there. Like, so we didn't really coalesce with one another like that. We wasn't really hanging at the same places at the same time. Now you asked about the Black King, Black Queen thing. That's something that it's possible. I don't know. I know I was King Sugar, like Little King Sugar, when I was like about, I don't know, 3rd, 4th grade. Like they got the you know, King and Queen Sugar. I mean, and they got the little king and the little queen. I mean, it's a thing. But I don't think I was the black little king Sugar. You know what I mean?
Brown Sugar.
Were
I
you
wasn't
little brown?
I wasn't Brown Sugar.
Were you in the main parade they had that they showed on TV?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They made sure not to show no black people. They showed.
Yeah, they made it look a little different than what it is, but I get where they're going with it. It makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
You know, Roger, what was the Fatal Dough experience like? You ever been to that?
Yeah, of course.
You saying of course? I've never been to it.
I've been.
And if somebody asked me, I'd be like, no, of course not.
Well,
I think that's funny.
My new Iberia experience might be different than yours, but I definitely went to the Fatal Dough because I had a lot of friends that went to the Fatal Dough because I went to mostly a predominantly white school. I went to Epiphany Day School. You know, like I was the only black in my class, and then after that I went to ESA. You know, and then after that I went to you know, Bell Place and the whole public school thing. But I always had like a lot of black friends, and I think
that's funny because I had the same experience. I went to Catholic High until I was in 6th grade, but I still didn't have like the Fatal Dough experience. I don't know if school, like, I get you, but I don't get that too, as far as like I went to school with them boys, so therefore I'm at that Fatal Dough.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like my mom and them wouldn't even want me to go to that Fatal Dough.
Did you have any black friends at Catholic High? Any?
Black friends?
Black friends.
At Catholic High, yeah, Brock Manuel. Shout out.
I
John
didn't have
Lewis.
no white friends at Epiphany, like none, not one.
No white friends or black
no
friends?
black friends, excuse me. No black,
Okay.
like not one, because there were no other black people there. Not
Like no
literally.
boys or girls?
None. I
Oh,
was
wow.
the
Okay.
only
That's
black
different than
person.
Catholic High. Yeah, you're right. That's different than Catholic High.
None.
You're right.
So like, you know,
You're right.
4th and 5th grade, and then, you know, like I said, when I went to ESA, none. Like none from 6, maybe the first black boy might have been in 9th grade.
Damn.
So from 6th to 9th, there was no black kids there.
No, stop that. You just said you went to Bell Place.
I went to Bell Place in 7th grade, but what I'm saying is when I was in 6th grade at ESA, from 6th grade to 7th grade to 8th grade, there probably wasn't another black kid until 9th grade.
He was like a freshman when you was in like
exactly is what I'm saying. So all I'm saying is I just had like that's what my friends were doing at that time, and so I kept with those friends. So I definitely went to the Fatal Dough. Long story short, short story long, but I went to the Fatal Dough.
Go ahead.
And it was, I can tell you what, if I had to use a word, what I think or how I perceive the Black Sugarcane Festival as versus the White Sugarcane Festival is organized.
So you're saying the Fatal Dough was organized?
The Fatal Dough was organized by somebody, a community, organization, something. And then I always felt like black people was just hanging out on Hopkins Street.
Yeah, because okay, yes, probably. But think about that just culturally. It's because white people can organize an event that says, hey, all of you people underage and of age and kind of close to of age, come out here and drink beer and have a good time and dance and do whatever, and we're gonna condone things like well, even if it's not even that, we're gonna condone things like drunk driving, going home from this event, and whatever else, because it's Sugarcane Festival weekend. We're gonna let you get away with it. Mm-hmm. Imagine black leaders in New Iberia trying to throw an event where they like, we're gonna be out here with that hen, and we're gonna be drinking, and we're gonna be uptown, at Bunk Johnson Memorial in West End Park, and then as soon as we leave there, the cops will be waiting for us around the corner. Yeah. Like, black people not really trying to put that type of event together, I don't think, in that way. Now, I would say if it was like a day thing, you know what I mean? Like, it was like a family day at the park, I think black people could put that together. But like you said, the organization might be off with certain parts, but I think that might be stereotypical a little bit.
So my question is, was racial tension kind of high out there? Like, when you was growing up, or was it just normal Louisiana? It's always racial tension in Louisiana.
If I'm speaking for myself, it was racial tension across the board, because it's a town where if they said it's 30, I think our numbers was like maybe 36, 37,000 people. I would say that when I was in school, it's probably a 70% white town. I would say that probably was the number, if not more. And so if there's any kind of a question, I mean, I could fast forward to the end of this documentary and tell you that Louis Ackle is still a sheriff in New Iberia. Yeah. So after all of that, he still got voted in again. Yeah. So the majority of the town,
they let you know.
We voted for David Duke. when he ran for governor.
It's crazy.
We voted for the Klansmen. Like, New Iberia is the racist undertones are huge. And if it comes up, small stories like Jay Harry when he was about to be the first valedictorian ever at Westgate High School. And then they tried to throw a little white chick, Brooke Cormier, into the mix and say, hey, she should be the valedictorian too because it's the first one and she needs to have it too. Like, they always was going to try to, like, it's not a free ride out there. Let's just put it that way.
I think that's Louisiana as a whole. Where I'm from in Shreveport, it's basically kind of the same thing. You know, it's always those racist undertones that rear their ugly head, you know, on a daily basis. You know, being stopped by the police for no reason because you in a nice car. You know, just those type of things. And I was thinking on the whole documentary, like, man, this really could have been me a few times. You know what I'm saying? Like they really could have hit me and put me back in the car.
Okay, so let's stop. It could I'm just stopping you. You're not so bad. You're doing the right thing. But this is what I'm saying. I think that you asked me my experience growing up. Yeah. I think that they're living in a different time and place in 2014, 2013, 2015, than when I did. Ackle wasn't the mayor. It was Sid Abel. I mean, not the mayor. He wasn't the police chief. It was Sid Abel, Romo Romero, or one of them, right? My point is just, it was a different mentality, man. Two dudes I went to school with got killed last week. We got a lot of black on black murders happening in New Iberia. Yeah. It's like, so there is that crime atmosphere that happens out there. I mean, it's stuff that's happening that, you know, from the outside looking in, you're like, man, somebody got to control them. And I get that sentiment to an extent. Yeah. But it's just a little different than nowadays. Is all I would say. But Los, I'm going to bring you back to the Victor White thing because I think that's what we need to talk about. I think we talked a little bit about New Iberia. Let's just talk about the actual Victor White thing. You said that could have been you. Yeah. I think I disagree. I think I disagree.
Why?
I think the part about it was, I don't know. I think at the end of the day, they're gonna say, people gonna look at that and they're gonna say, like, his parents was like, he was ready to be a man. He was trying to take care of his responsibilities. That's what they kept saying. His parents, his sisters, and everybody. Yeah, that's what his mom and them said. Yeah, I heard. All them white folks gonna do is look at this and say he had crack. Mm-hmm. So he need to go to jail. Yeah. I don't think you would have had crack in your pocket.
I would have never had crack. I probably would have had some weed in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? But I would have threw it out or something when the laws put them up. But I still think it's still no reason for a man to die under police custody. I don't really care what you had. You know what I mean? I just feel like if he on one that day or that lawman is on one that day, he will do you something. I mean, I've been stopped by the police officer in 10th grade and he just had me outside for an hour just because he didn't believe that was my car. Even though I had everything I needed, everything, you know. I was just Christmas, so I had like $150 in my pocket. And he just figured I was selling drugs. I called my daddy from the car phone and was like, hey, man, these folk got me hemmed up. You know what I'm saying? He came over there and like, oh. You know, so I think it could be anybody at any point in time. It just depends on who you have. I just feel like it doesn't matter. Like, I don't think he like, because he was in handcuffs. Are you ready to go and tell them how it happened now? But I just feel like it could be anybody. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it doesn't matter who you are.
For those people who didn't hear the story, I mean, I'll give you the bullet points. He walking down the street with a homeboy that he had just pretty much met. They was going to the store. They was going to the store to get some gauze. That means they was about to blow that weed. So you know he had weed. One of them had weed on him because they was going to get some cigars from the store. There was a fight at the store that neither one of them was involved in. They come out of the store. As they're walking back, the police are coming to investigate the fight. They pull them over, ask them if they was in the fight. They said no. Then I guess the police choose to pat them down and go through their pockets because they black, right? Mm-hmm. Let's just start there because fuck it, I gotta go through your pockets. You don't look like you've been in a fight. Your knuckles ain't got nothing on it. You ain't got no lacerations on your face. But you know what? Let me just pat you down just cause. I mean, that's what I'm supposed to do. Anyway, so you find the weed on him and you find some coke in his pockets. You check his waistband. You check his back. You check everything. You do all of that. You sit him on the front of the car. Like, they sitting out there, then you're like, okay, some other cops come, and they're like, okay, we're gonna take you in. Yeah. As they're taking him in, watch the video. When you guys get a chance to watch it, he's smiling and laughing outside the car. Mm-hmm. He's smiling and laughing. I mean, he not over there in no distressed face. He look like, man, fuck, I gotta go to jail, but he's still like kind of smiling and whatever. Anyway, back of the cop car, they take him to the part behind the courthouse in New Iberia, right by the bayou, in between the city park, where they ain't got no lights, no cameras, no nothing else going on, and allegedly he shoots himself in the chest while his hands are handcuffed behind his back, and it's like when they showed them type of handcuffs, it's impossible.
It's a hand. It got a hand.
It's just
on
impossible.
It look like some old ass handcuffs. It's no way that man shot himself in the chest. No way.
With his right hand when he left-handed. It's just where the gun was the whole time. The whole story is just unbelievable. And
he patted him down twice. There's just no way that happened. And he had a cut above his eye. You know, it was a whole bunch of stuff that just didn't match up with that whole story. And the way he told it, like, I feel like they just put it out like they interviewed him. They didn't test his hands for gun residue. The police officer, they never tested his hands for gunshot residue. They brought him in, and they were just talking to him. The lady just wrote everything he said down, just like he said it, and was like, okay, you know, you cool. And then put a statement out on Facebook. Like, the family been up there, you know, for hours, you know, and just put, it's extremely disrespectful. It's crazy.
The initial call was 2 thug-looking black guys are out here fighting. You didn't see that?
Yeah. But that's what I said. We all could have fit that description at one point in time, man. You know, leaving the store, you know, especially when we wearing all big clothes and all that, we all fit the description at some point of something that was going on. I left the corner store, you know, riding around on the scene. They just got through fighting. We get out of there. You know, all the cars dispersed. And definitely could have said, oh, black man with a hat cut like T.I.'s and, you know, long, tall, white tee on.
Roger, have you ever been talked to in a disrespectful way or felt any way marginalized by the police department in New Iberia at any time?
No. So, never. But I have been talked to crazy during a speeding ticket. You know, I get a speeding ticket, and they're like, what the fuck, slow down, you know, slow the fuck down, like cursing at me and stuff like that. But I never felt endangered by the police in New Iberia.
For real? You never been pulled over or just hacked up by the law before, ever?
No, never.
Just not in New Iberia or just never?
Never, period.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely New Iberia Police Department, they've put me on the ground before behind, I was probably like 17 the first time that happened. Just, they said I smell like weed. You smell like weed. So, let me check your pockets. We need you to we need you to sit down next to the car. Yeah. At McDonald's on Center Street. Just sit down. Yeah, I mean, it definitely a lot of things could happen. And I mean, if I'd had crack in my pockets, I might have been in the jail too. Now, I wonder what he, like, and just this is just me posing the question. 2 thoughts that thing. One is, I wonder what happened. Just like everybody else who watches this documentary, you're going to wonder what happened.
Yes.
Because something fucking happened besides what they saying happened.
Yeah, but what was it?
I don't know. What was the provocation? Was it like, did the cop's gun go off accidentally while he was doing some shit? Did he, did Victor White did he get out the car and try to run when they was parking because he thought they was going to beat, and they punched him or something and they shot him? Like,
let me ask y'all a question. Like, no, like, and I'm being serious. Like, I'm being serious. What, and this might get.
Go ahead. What if he shot himself? Go ahead. What if that man shot himself? I know where you're going with it, Raj. I know how you think. But the thing is, I listened to the documentary. I mean, I watched the documentary, and I've been hearing this story for the last 4 years about it. And just kind of bringing it back in my head again. There is a place that I'm always going to reserve for what if that man shot himself. Yeah. Because you have to consider that.
So,
I think today, seeing the handcuffs for the first time completely took that thought out of my mind of that man could have shot himself. Like, I just don't see the physics.
I think the handcuffs and the coroner said the bullet wound came into the chest. That was an entry wound.
So here's my rebuttal. So
go ahead.
We talked about it a little bit right before the podcast. I want to bring it up that I don't remember how like close it was in time, or that I had a discussion with the sheriff, but I actually had a Facebook interview in person, an interview in person with the sheriff. And, you know, for legal reasons, of course, he had to kind of, like, he couldn't say a whole lot of stuff, of course, right? But we talked about some things nonetheless. And the only reason in my head in my head that I have any doubt in my mind about what may have happened, and maybe that man might have shot himself in the chest. It has nothing to do with the fact that he left-handed or right-handed, because they got some dudes that can do a layup with their left hand or right hand. So that don't have nothing to do with nothing to me. But I saw the sheriff pull their picture out, and showed me an inmate that was handcuffed and had his hand on his chest. I shit you not. I was like, I'd never seen. Okay, so I've seen double jointed people.
Handcuffed from the back.
He was handcuffed from the back and had his hand on his chest. And if I don't really remember. I don't remember exactly how the picture looked, but just I guess how I'm taking it right now. I remember it being his right hand on his left breast, handcuffed from the back, hand on his right hand on his left chest, left breast.
And yeah, and some niggas could fit inside of a box, and they wear white face paint and white gloves, and then they fucking pretend like they're in a glass box, and then they step into a fucking box that you put a microwave in, and they could fit their whole fucking body in it. Right. So yes, the human body could do a whole bunch of crazy things, but let's put that situation. I get you, Raj. I mean, but what else is he supposed to show you aside the most extreme situation that someone could?
I can't rock with that.
No, absolutely, and I feel you, and that's why I'm not saying that I necessarily believe, the sheriff. I'm like, oh, okay, it's cool. They got some double jointed people,
but you have an inkling of a reasonable doubt.
Here's how I feel about the situation. This is like truly how I feel about the situation. Regardless of what happened, Victor White was under the responsibility of the law. And that man died. That man shouldn't have died while he was under the hands of the law. Yeah. Like just it wasn't somebody in the jail where like the guard couldn't get to him fast enough. It was him and a cop. And that man died. That should not have happened. That can't. Yeah. Have you ever been? So let me tell you something. You asked me if I ever had a run-in with the law. I have had running. I've been arrested before. Yeah. I've been in the back of a police car before. There's not a lot of room to move. No, there's not a lot of room to do stuff
at all.
So like, that man should have been kept safe. If let's just say let's say that man, I'm assuming that man shot himself. I'm saying in this scenario, he shouldn't have had a gun. He shouldn't have had access to a gun.
Yeah,
I don't need people to even intimate after I die that I had a gun stuck up my ass. Exactly. So. Fuck that cop for even for that being his rationale. He must have stuck it up his ass. Fuck out of here.
I was looking at when
I know
they kept showing the video. They kept showing the video of him walking. I'm like, he a skinny little dude, so his ass ain't that big, right? So that was a 9 or something like that. It wasn't like it was a little 22. You know what I'm saying? And he walking around with that thing stuck in his ass. He sat on the ground with it in his ass. Come on, dog. Like it's just.
That is
the whole time.
That is a lot.
You pat him down, and then set him down on the ground. You handcuffed him, set him on the ground.
That's a lot.
With a gun in his ass. Picked him up, pat him down again. He still got the gun.
He still got a gun in his ass.
Where he was just sitting on the flat concrete with a whole gun. Come on, it just everything doesn't work out at all to me. There's no way that even works, bro.
Yeah, nothing checks out about that. Now I didn't hear him say that it might have been in his sock. If he would have said, I never checked his leg and it might have been in his sock, that might have felt more like, oh, okay. But he didn't even say that. He was like, he must have been in his ass. Let me
also tell y'all this, what I know about the whole situation. So, and if there's any type of wrongdoing by the police in this situation, this should scare you. So, everything happened with the Iberia Parish Sheriff's Office, right? Like the whole situation happened, right? With them. They turned
we were gonna get a little bit into that. We can kind of start talking about that.
They turned over all the evidence to the state police. Like they was like, all right, cool, y'all don't want us to fool with it here. State police. Y'all do the investigation. And in the long run, like you go to the end of the situation, nothing happens.
Yeah.
The only thing I saw that I didn't know, I guess maybe
that
I knew that they settled.
Yeah.
I don't know for how much. I don't know anything about the terms, but that they settled.
Yeah.
But they might have settled under the same premise of what you just said, Roger, that they was neglectful in having him in the station. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't. My thing is, he wasn't in the state, bro. He parked in the farthest away he can get from the door, where he knew no cameras were around. You know what I mean? When you work somewhere like that, you're a police officer, you're always vigilant of what's going on around you. You know exactly where the cameras are. He purposely parked away. So whatever happened in that car, from when he picked him up at to the police station or wherever he parked at, something was said or he felt some kind of way and was like, you know what? This was about to happen. You know what I mean? Because why else would you park? If I'm transporting a prisoner to the jail, or no, somebody to the jail, I'm not parking the farthest away in the darkest spot. You know what I mean?
I want to even address that as well. Because when I saw the dash camera showing them pick him up from off of Lewis Street, right there, like 2-3 streets down from where my mama stayed.
Yeah.
Hop in the car, got him in there on Lewis Street, and taking him to the police station, the courthouse. Well, not the courthouse. They bringing him to the building on St. Peter on Main Street. On Main Street. Anyway, where the library at? That's behind the library is what the hell that is. Okay. So he pull in there, and when he drive into the back, you could see the bayou behind him, and he turn and park behind the building. And that was my same thought. My thought was, you know what? I know that under the building somewhere, I'm sure about this, is a holding cell. So I think there's a holding cell right there. Roger, am I right about that?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I don't know, but I have no idea.
It's all jails. This one right there, you know?
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that they. But in my head, while I was watching, I was like, is that what they do? Like, that was my first thought. Is that what they do? Do they take you to the back of that thing? Maybe I should ask somebody who didn't got locked up in New Iberia. But do they take you to the back of the thing to transport you some kind of way? And then my question is, how long does it take for you to get there, get out of that whip, open the door, when that man had already killed himself? Like,
yeah. I mean, it's a gunshot, so like,
and he not trying to shoot none of y'all. He just killed himself.
Exactly.
My thing is, like, honestly, when I go back to just it, I'm just keeping it as 100 as I could keep it. When you start looking at situations like this isn't Mike Brown. This isn't Trayvon Martin, but this is our Mike Brown. This is our Sandra Bland. This is our Trayvon Martin. You know what I'm saying? But if you check off the check boxes in certain things, it's like we know George Zimmerman killed Trayvon Martin. We know that officer, that clown-ass officer, killed Mike Brown. Mm-hmm. Like, when it's one of these situations where they say, no, we didn't even do it, he did it to himself, let's look at the evidence. Handcuffed behind his back. Mm-hmm. Y'all didn't see the gun, now he got the gun. You're bringing him to a place where just so happen your cameras don't show. They don't even show nobody ever go to. Everything that takes place is in the back of the thing. Man, I can't walk out my house. I can't walk out my house right now and do something and not get a camera on me. Real shit. Like somebody's little Ring doorbell next door is gonna have me on camera.
Catch you somewhere.
Like they gonna have a camera. You gotta be purposefully not trying to be caught on camera. Yeah. But go ahead. What you was gonna say, Lo?
And I was just gonna mention his dashboard camera. It goes both ways. It goes out towards the front of the car and in the car.
But it was turned off.
Yeah, he said, "Oh, that's just how mine was set up. It was just set up like that for me." When I heard that, I said, "Oh, he know what he been beating up people in the back of his car for me. Because if I'm in the right, you know what I'm saying? Why would I cut that camera off?"
And I guess that's where the story turns. And this is just us making some surmising and doing other things. But this is where the story turns. Like, I feel like the last 45 minutes at least of the documentary, we're talking about just the state of and this is what Roger was just alluding to, the state of the Iberia Parish Sheriff's Department, and how they just been beating people for a while, and how they got different task force that go out there and beat people and wilding and all kind of stuff. Yeah. I ain't gonna hit you with it. This podcast is brought to you by, but they was talking about a cat named Jacob Huckabee. Raj, you remember Jacob Huckabee?
I don't.
I'm gonna tell you about Jacob Huckabee. He was one of the former narcotics agents who was under him, and basically, what Jacob Huckabee worked as a narcotics agent during the 2008 incident. When he testified, he and two other agents were drunk when they walked to the West End and assaulted multiple men without reason. When a deputy responded to the situation, they lied and said they were conducting surveillance, and a fight broke out. He said he went there and told Ackle about it, and Ackle was like, "Well, that looked like some good nigga knocking." Yeah. We kind of felt like the sheriff was one of us, so it was good. Maybe I'm gonna take, and I say this jokingly, but I might have to take some responsibility for that, because I definitely put hands on Jacob Huckabee bitch ass in the 7th grade, and maybe he, and I wish I put hands on him after that. I wish it's people like that. The first thing I thought I had was you was a little punk when you know what I mean. You was a little chump in school. and then you're like, I want to beat them laws so I could have some
and
power.
And you know what? All them niggas that did something to me, I'm gonna get them. Or anybody who look like them or remind me, or I'm just gonna inflict my power up on people just because I can. And who gonna do something about it? What they gonna do?
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy, Al? I guess I don't watch the news enough. I guess this is what it is. I don't pay attention enough, but I don't remember that incident. I don't remember them laws. I don't remember hearing on the news or hearing anywhere that them laws went to the Western Park drunk and beat boys up.
Well, no, it only came out in the ACO trial. Like in the trial, that was like people was testifying. But I was reading up on it. I only know about that one specifically because when I saw the name Jacob Huckabee, I was like, oh, he a cop? Oh, and he, okay.
Ooh.
And he a crooked cop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew you had it in you.
Cop.
You a cop. He a crooked daddy.
Cop.
A crooked daddy.
Yeah.
But yeah, either way, I'm just looking at the whole situation. And
then too, I kind of feel like when they started investigating, the FBI came in. It slightly overshadowed Lil Vic's case.
Yeah, it did, absolutely, because he made it all about
I
ACO.
think it kind of went. He got the lady. I forgot her name, but she's a civil rights attorney. I think it just blew up way over her head, and all they could kind of do was just kind of keep up and gather evidence here and there. And I think it like I said, overshadowed their case tremendously. And at least they got the settlement though. But I definitely think that the officer should be in jail, man. I just feel like that's a killer walking around free. You know, that's wild. And he probably got a job at a ISD somewhere, or some kind of at a school district somewhere, being a little cop in the
Apple store.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
At a jewelry store somewhere.
Yeah. Or even in like a little school cop, little middle school cop or something like that, bro. You just never know, because white folk gonna take care of white people, bro. At the end of the day.
Never know.
You know what I'm saying? So you got that man coming in slamming your son for no reason.
Hey, Losin, you know what? Speaking on that, you said something that kind of like, I don't know, like you just said white people gonna take care of white people, and I don't think I like that. I don't think you like that. I don't think anybody likes that, But black people take care of black people, right? I'm gonna take care of my black. If they got a black this and a white that, I want to go to the black one. I at least want to give it a shot.
I mean, as a whole though. Yeah, I mean, in a situation like this, for the most part, they're gonna make sure they're on straight. But much better. We had this discussion before.
But that, like, this whole situation, honestly, like, I don't feel scared or frightened or anything like that. But just the thought of this generally scares me. It's like how powerful are white people? Like, very, like, how powerful are white people? You know what I'm saying?
Raj, did you think about this, Raj? Did you even think about this? And shout out to all my partners who live uptown or grew up uptown. Did you show how they said people who live on the Bayou Teche got $1 million houses, and them boys uptown live in slave houses, and then they showed them houses, and they really look like slave outhouses.
Shotguns.
Like, I never really looked at them houses uptown on like Anderson Street and thought,
dude, them houses,
man, that's an old slave quarter.
Them houses on Anderson Street across from Anderson Middle School.
That's what I'm talking about.
Terrible.
Yes, that's what they showed.
That's what they showed.
I mean, I know that firsthand, though. Like, forget what they showed. I done seen this. Like, I done seen these houses.
And I mean, that's the point. Like, they trying to put. So I guess what should scare you about it, Raj, is just that it's the upper level of how high it goes. Like, right? Like, it could be a corrupt person like Acko in little old nowhere, New Iberia, Louisiana, and then he could get insulated by like a state investigation that says he's still good, and then a national investigation can come and say, nah, he's still good.
He went to Shreveport, and with a Shreveport jury, and it was like, nah, he's straight. Like, it's like a gang. It's like a collective that's always gonna take care of each other, no matter.
But where does it stop? Like,
nowhere.
Like, it's like you used to think maybe the federal government would be the place that would, like, okay, like, back in the 60s, when you hear stories about like they're trying to segregate schools in Alabama, and the governor standing outside talking about not segregation, not now, segregation, not ever. Yeah. And they out there, and they're doing that. And Lyndon B. Johnson is in the White House talking about, send the troops down there and get that shit right.
Yeah,
man, we got Trump in office, man. I don't even think like we got a federal dog in the race that's gonna help us and shit like this.
I mean, I feel like, like I was saying earlier, they're gonna take care of their own. I feel like, the state we are in as black people, we are so far behind all ethnicities. You know, at this point when it comes to that type of stuff, you know, which don't have to do with this case, but I'm just saying, like, you have to be aware and understand that stuff. That's a real thing, man.
I think also, Los, you're onto something there as far as being behind all ethnicities. I think as far as taking care of each other, I think we'd be way behind all other ethnicities. Because of course, white people, we just said they take care of each other. You know, Middle Eastern's gonna take care of each other. Yeah. Mexicans gonna take care of each other.
Yes.
What we doing?
Fighting and killing each other. That's what we doing. I mean, we coming a long way, but we still have so long to go to even catch up. You
were supposed to let that breathe. That was a little powerful statement. You were supposed to let that one breathe, Los. No, but I mean, no, real. No, real.
I thought you were asking me.
I thought it was rhetorical, but I mean, I get it. It make a bunch of sense, man.
Yeah, it does, man. It's crazy, dog.
Louis Acker was letting them boys beat them inmates in jail. Now that was a big story in New Iberia too. The whole premise of him trying to get in trouble, they was taking him to the chapel in the jailhouse where the cameras wouldn't see him, and they was beating him. Like they showed the little inmate dude from New Iberia, and you know, he got off. Like he got off of his charges based upon that, like testifying there, and then like they basically brought up a suit against him, like all of that.
He had some real charges too.
Yeah. If you look all of that up, but he wasn't the only one. There was a lot of people who got beat up like that. So it was a lot happening. But I think when you create that culture of turn the camera the other way, beat their ass, sick the dogs on them, that shit was terrifying to watch that dog bite that nigga. Ooh.
Yeah, and the crazy part of the inmates were so used to it, they were just still sitting there
cutting hair.
Like the dog was right by that man's foot. He didn't even move it. It's crazy.
So that's why if it's in that environment, you got to look at the Victor White situation and be like, man, there's something to it. If that's what they do, this is what they do. They turn the cameras the other way, then they fuck black people up.
Yeah.
So that's what they do. So how is that like the camera's the other way? Oh no, my camera's just always pointing that way. That's the reason. I honestly feel like, just kind of thinking about it, something happened. Victor White told him something wild in that car. Like, cursed him out or told him something stupid.
Whatever he didn't like.
And they said, nah, get out the car. And one of them, like, punched him in the head, which is why he got that big laceration, or hit him with something in the head, pistol whipped him right quick. And then, as soon as they hit him, either he took off running or he did something. And some kind of way they didn't, just would assume, wasn't trying to shoot and kill him. But that's just what ended up happening. So then they had to come up with a story.
And then, and the crazy part, I looked at, the gun only had one bullet.
One bullet in the gun.
What you call it was locked back. You know, when you shoot the gun, all the bullets come out, it lock back. It open up. You know what I'm saying? So he shot one time, and the gun, you know, it had one. So he carried around a gun with one bullet in it. Come on, man, it just don't add up to me at all, bro. You can't even argue that to me. It's crazy.
I just think about human compassion in this situation. Yeah. I think about myself, and I don't think, you know, I don't have to walk around hoping that a motherfucker would. You know, like I never walked around like that, like just hoping I get me one, or hoping like I don't want to kill nobody. I never felt the urge to want to kill somebody. It's because nobody did me anything. Nobody, you know, did nothing to my mom or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody did something that was gonna make me act out of line.
Feel like I had to.
Yeah. Like there is nothing in police custody that a person in police custody can do that would make me think as a cop I'm gonna end his life. I'm gonna shoot him.
Yeah.
Like he's in custody. Like all these other police brutalities, like. Most of them, they weren't in custody. This is a special one because this dude was handcuffed.
Well, that's like the Sandra Bland.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So in PV preview.
I don't know. Like I don't. It makes me worry about people. You know,
and that's what I was saying. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Where I feel like it could be. That could have happened to me a few times. It might still be able to happen. I might fit the description of a dude with some basketball shorts on, a white t-shirt or a t-shirt, and some slippers coming from the store. Somebody might have, you know, black dude, he did this, and white man or the police officer see me walking, and I'm like, what you talking about? You know, sometimes that's all it takes. You know what I'm saying? Some wrong body language that he don't like. You know, anything, man. You just never know, bro. It can happen.
I just think that it's interesting, and I think that people need to watch. People who know me, people who know you, Roger, people who know someone from New Iberia specifically, Louisiana in general, smaller cities in Louisiana, not necessarily New Orleans, Baton Rouge, should watch this documentary to get some kind of an idea of these are the type of people that shaped my worldview. Like, the way I see the world, and if you ever hear me say something about on a podcast, like we talking and whatever, and I say, yeah, white folks be blah, blah, blah. You know, I try to peel back from some of that because, you know, I know some white people that's A1 with me. Yeah. I know some people that work with me that's cool as a fan, that want to learn about acceptance, and they want to learn about cultural, just like the bettering of our cultural relations. I also know white folks who like will be the first one out there, like Heather Heyer. We did a podcast about her like last year. She the white woman who got ran over in Charlottesville when she was protesting the Tiki Torch boys. Like, they got white people who would get out there and damn near lose their lives. It was 3 or 4 white men who went down there with them civil rights leaders, and they got them in that car and killed them in the 60s, man. I can't remember their names, but yes, these things like white folks, you know, a lot of times they'll be 100.
We never
it's just not the it's just not the type of white folks that I grew up around. I grew up around this shit. This is the type of stories that my family talked about. This is the reason that your mama says, well, if the cops pull you over, yes sir, no sir, and get your ass home. This type of shit. This shapes who I became as a man and why I feel certain ways about certain things. I just think I would encourage anybody who knows me, who gives a shit enough to be like, hey, I want to know where these niggas coming from. Watch that documentary. It'll tell you a little bit.
It will.
No, yeah, and that's real. That's real. That's really real because this podcast is brought to you by Mile High CI. I really want that man to watch that. Like, I don't know if he did, but, you know, moving out to a different city, I think part of my moving out was not wanting to be around New Iberia in general. Like, I mean, I love New Iberia. I will say that. I love New Iberia. I love the man that it made me, but I definitely had to get out of there. And I think all of us had the same idea, you know. It just took me a little longer. Well, anyway, getting out there and, you know, meeting some people and where I'm at now, I do want those people to understand where I came from. And maybe understand why I might say something that I would say. And granted, you know, I'm not the same as you. You know, like I don't
Yeah,
I might not say
different.
some of the same things.
Everybody
that you
different.
say, right? But I get it. We from the same place. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not from New Iberia, but I think, like he says, atypical for, you know, Louisiana period to kind of be shaped that way. You know what I mean? And it's like, just watching that documentary brought me back to a couple of incidents that happened in Louisiana, in Shreveport. You know, just things that, I mean, just outright, just the killing of a black man. You know, just, and the lawman just go back to work. You know, he go back to work like nothing happened until it get big in the news and it has to keep going. And now Al Sharpton has to get involved. I just, my whole thing is, why does it have to go that far? You know what I mean? Like, why we gotta do all that just to get justice for somebody who just killed? You know, so that it definitely has shaped me to be and think a lot of ways I do to this day. You know, it's kind of sad till you think about it, man.
That jury in Shreveport is who let off Ackles. So I mean, your Shreveport people.
I'm not surprised.
I'm just saying, yeah, they probably the same type of thoughts. And Bossier City people is probably the same as Bossier Parish and Iberia Parish, the same way in a lot of regards. Yeah. I would assume in that way. I just didn't the end of the documentary infuriate you? Like, when he was Ackles is a mean bitch, and he was talking to that woman so disrespectful, dog.
But you know why though? He entitled white guy. He just beat trial. He like, I run it, bitch. You can't do nothing to me.
So I want to
get out my office. I want get out my office.
I want to give you a little.
This is my building. I'm the sheriff.
Let me give y'all a little insight, just a little bit, because like I said, I got a pretty decent relationship with that man. You know, like that man had been in my house before. Like I done sat at the dinner table with Ackle before. That man, real talk. That man ate pineapple at my house. So
and mayonnaise. Go ahead.
That man is if you know him, that man is a very, 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 very nice person. If you know him, I don't know how he is if you don't know him, but I know if you're a criminal or if you think you're a criminal. I'm gonna say that I don't know how you feel because I guess I'm not in that view of how he feels about somebody. But if you Victor White, he hates your guts. Like he don't give a fuck what happens to you. That man is a very, very, very crabbish and boastful. He's not mean. I won't say he's mean, but he does not give a care. Like he's gonna say what he wants to say at all times. And that man, they was objecting that man. It was all of the words that we heard that came from court in the cartoons whenever we was young. They was hitting him with all of them, and he was like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, he
fuck
was.
y'all court.
Yeah. Like, but he ended it by saying, and I don't want to hear Victor White mouth no more. Like, I don't want to hear. I honestly, all bullshit aside, the justice, it probably would be for them cops to be involved who shot him. But I bet Victor White Daddy would love some justice. Just put him in the room with Akko and let's see what go down. Because Victor White Daddy was like my favorite part of the whole show. Yeah, he was cool. He had a nice rhythm to how he talked. Like I could see why he would be somebody's reverend. Like I could listen to him talk for a while. He was like, and in the face of a tragic situation like that, he was able to articulate himself, compose himself. I'm a big fan of him. And I was like way less of a fan of Akko than I already am. So I want them boys in a steel cage, SummerSlam 2018.
Yeah. That's funny. That'll never. Akko is old and frail. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've seen.
I felt sorry for him a little bit because of that.
I don't know if you've seen Akko. I don't know if you've seen Akko lately. Like he looks a lot worse. He got a beard now. Like he don't look as good as he looked in. Not to say that he looked good. He don't look as good as he looked in the documentary now.
Yeah, that was like 2 years ago in the documentary.
I also asked that man, whenever I did the interview with him, like, you're old, in so many words, you're old, why are you still the sheriff at 80? He pushing 80. Why are you still the sheriff at 80? And he was like, because I don't think anybody else could do a better job than me. He didn't think that there was anybody else that was qualified. I don't know if you've seen the characters. Like I do. You talked about David Duke actually being like on the ballot. No, forget on being on the ballot. He was in office at one point in time, like a state house of representatives or something like this. Like the characters that run for sheriff and run for elected offices in New Iberia are all bad. They all suck.
I think
you know what I'm saying? Like it's
Louisiana as a whole, boy.
They all suck. I mean, I'm sure that Louisiana got some good legislation.
My question is,
but in New Iberia, it is impossible.
Some way, somebody.
Like if somebody who we really thought was uber qualified, who went to college and did some stuff, one of us that we knew, like was like, oh, they would never win though.
No,
wouldn't vote for that uber intelligent individual who had really common sense opinions on prison reform and how to curb crime with programs to help the youth and to defer a particular type of money and enact certain type of laws that are going to be safe for the people who are in the community, but also it's going to cut down on the crime before it even happens because we're going to get into the schools and we're going to make sure that these kids are learning a certain thing. Nah, we don't want that. We want the motherfucker who throwing them in jail and fuck them. Like
and let them dogs.
We had a lot of that when I was in school. I was in a club called PADA, PADA, and it was Prevention of Alcohol and Drug Abuse. We can argue on how well that worked out in my whole life, but at the time, as a kid, I was like, nah, I don't want to drink. I don't want to smoke. It was like DARE type thing. And I remember the Nathaniel Mitchell, the black officer coming into the building, showing us his gun, but also showing us like people dead and like people ODing on that dope. And people then got shot, and he's showing us the body bloated and stuff, and like y'all don't need that.
They won't do that no more in schools. I tried. They won't do that no more. I don't want kids to see that. They'd rather let them play GTA where they can kill people themselves now.
Mm-hmm. Right? Fortnite.
They won't let you. They don't want to let you show preventative measures to help kids understand that that's not good for you. They don't want you to see. They don't want the kids to see that.
Because I think it's got to be a whole. It's got to be a whole culture shift. If you're gonna stop that, because as we alluded to earlier, this is not the point of this. Because I hate when people bring up the point like y'all killing yourselves. Like look at Chicago. That's the type of shit that
they do.
Narrow-minded people will say to try to push a point and agenda and deflect the actual conversation. This conversation is about Victor White. This conversation is about police brutality in Louisiana. This conversation is about the unanswered questions and in a place that we call home that we wanted to discuss. When you start having the other conversation about, but them boys be killing each other, then that changes the narrative. But it's a part of it too. If we not out there killing each other, if we out there having better plans for the future, then maybe we're not in the situation where the police running on us so aggressively because they always thinking we're doing something, because somebody is doing something. So, I mean, it's a lot of levels to this. It's a lot of things.
It's a lot to unpack at the end of the day, you know. So.
But, I mean, like I said, I'm just happy we all got an opportunity to talk tonight about it. And like I said, we working through these thoughts real time. Yeah. This is the first time. Shout out because Blue Rolfus had a cameo and Mr. Alton Guillory had a cameo. I saw a couple of people who I knew well from back in the day.
You know who I saw? You know who I saw, Al?
Did you not see Mr. Alton?
I didn't see Mr. Alton. I didn't see him for whatever. But this who I did see. And I know you saw this person too. I don't know her name, but if I had to guess, I think her name is Peggy.
Oh, from Uptown?
I don't know her name, but she looked like
Peggy.
a Peggy.
Who you talking about, Peggy Jarrett?
I don't know if it was Peggy Jarrett. I just know it was a lady named Peggy. You know how they got like 4 Peggy's in New Iberia and they all...
You talking about Peggy who be on the billboard?
Either they read in church, they are on some sort of elected official, or something. Do help.
All right, no, stop. We've done a good job of not clowning for the last
I'm sorry, Miss Peggy.
I am for real. I got you. I might have seen Peggy if it's the same Peggy. I thought you was talking about Peggy who used to braid hair uptown, like kind of a dope fiend Peggy.
I'm really talking about the lady I'm talking about the lady that was standing with Akko after he was acquitted.
Well, that was the NAACP representative from like the area.
I done seen
and
that
she
lady
testified on his behalf. So yeah,
Stupid.
I mean, she did what she felt like she was right.
I don't like it.
she did what she felt was right.
I don't like
But
it.
I mean, I'm just gonna say this, man. SugarTown was good. Hashtag Justice for Vic. Still. Hashtag handcuff Houdini, man. You know, I don't know what other stuff could bring to light. I think whoever did it probably got away with murder at this point.
Yeah.
Or if he killed himself, like you said, then we'll never know because they didn't do the right protocols to allow us to see him. If that camera was pointing in the right direction, they'd be exonerated.
Right.
Like we wouldn't even have nothing
Or
to talk
in
about.
jail. Yeah. Maybe in jail. We never know.
I just want to say that I was glued to the TV. It wasn't just good. It was legendary. Just to see. I mean, I hate that it's that got my city on the map. You know, but I was very glued to the TV in watching this documentary. It was very well put together.
Yeah, I couldn't wait to watch it. And it actually made New Iberia actually look pretty beautiful when they were showing those drone shots over the bayou. Mm-hmm. I was like, damn, I want to go there. I don't know what's there, but I want to go there. Oh, that's where I'm from? Like
you ain't even know.
Yeah, I didn't even know it. So it is what it is. Man, we're going to be back regularly scheduled time upcoming on this week. We're gonna shoot y'all. We're going to be up back on Friday. So look forward to the regular BFW podcast.
To listen to.
But yeah, we gave y'all something extra to peel through, man. And like I said, if you're hearing about it right now and you're on the fence, you shouldn't be on the fence no more. Investigation Discovery, find it, look it up online.
Please
find some links, check it out.
How you feel too on social media. Let us know.
Yeah. Rod, you got anything to add?
I don't.
All right, we signing off then. We'll holler at y'all later on this week.